NervGen NVG-291. What is it? What does it do? And what is the reality it helps us, the people living with spinal cord injury? There has been a lot of interest in NervGen lately, and a lot of news flying around about it, shouting it could be key to a cure for spinal cord injury. I've seen many different stories online, from both extremes of it's the cure for spinal cord injury to it's just another scam of false hope. So today, we'll dive in together. We'll look into absolutely everything there is about NVG-291, NervGen, and its research, and find out if we should forget about it, be super excited about it, or somewhere in between. I'm your host, Mike. Welcome to my channel. I have had a C5 complete injury since I was a young teenager, and I, just as I'm sure many others, am very much looking forward to the day I'm independent once more. So let's find out if NervGen gets us any closer to the independence goal. Okay, here we go. The current focus causing the noise around NervGen is its drug NVG-291, a first-in-class peptide drug developed by NervGen Pharma, targeting the tyrosine phosphatase sigma pathway to promote neural repair, as this pathway is acting as a block to nerve growth. NVG-291 is designed to counteract the inhibitory effects of the glial scar and other factors that block regeneration after CNS injury. Mechanistically, it's derived from a molecule ISP, invented by neuroscientist Dr. Jerry Silver around 2015, which, in animal models, enabled damaged neurons to regrow and form new connections, restoring functions like bladder control and movement. NVG-291 aims to replicate that in humans by disinhibiting neuronal growth and plasticity in the chronically injured spinal cord. In 2023-25, NervGen conducted the CONNECT-SCI study, a placebo-controlled trial with two cohorts, chronic SCI, injuries 1 to 10 years old, and subacute SCI, injuries 1 to 3 months old. All participants have cervical motor incomplete. NVG-291 is given by daily subcutaneous injections for 12 weeks with extensive outcome testing up to 16 weeks. The trial's co-primary endpoints are electrophysiological, improvement in motor-evoked potential amplitudes in key muscles, hand and leg, as objective markers of restored corticospinal connectivity. Secondary outcomes include clinical function, for example, grasp hand function, walking tests, and MRI measures of spinal cord integrity. Okay, let's now look deeper, gaining insight into the mechanism of NVG-291. NVG-291 works by mimicking the intracellular wedge domain of PTP sigma, a receptor on neurons and support cells that binds to chondroitin sulfate proteoglycans, CSPGS, in the scar. I know, these words went over my head too, but I promise it starts to make sense. So, after injury, CSPGs accumulate in the glial scar, halting axon regrowth and plasticity. By binding to PTP sigma's site, NVG-291 essentially unsilences the regenerative capacity of neurons. Axons can sprout and grow past the scar, and oligodendrocytes, which make the neuron insulation called myelin, can remyelinate axons that were demyelinated after injury. Preclinical studies by Dr. Silver's team showed systemic delivery of the peptide, called ISP, in paralyzed rodents led to axon regeneration, new circuit formation, and recovery of functions like walking and bladder voiding. NVG-291 is a refined, clinical-grade version of Dr. Silver's ISP. It is a therapeutic peptide with a cell-penetrating moiety, meaning the peptide has a part that allows it to pass through the cell membrane that is injected under the skin. Once injected, it circulates and crosses into the nervous system to reach injury sites. Its action is not injury-specific, so it potentially enhances plasticity wherever CSPGs impose inhibition, which is why it's being explored for other conditions like multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's, where CSPGs and PTP sigma also play roles. So, the key concept is NVG-291 releases the brakes that the scar and certain inhibitory proteins put on the nervous system, allowing the body's natural repair processes to progress. This can lead to axonal regrowth, synaptic reconnection, remyelination of axons, and formation of new pathways to bypass damaged areas. Also worth noting, from drug treatment to assessment here was 16 weeks, and there was another follow-up assessment at 12 months we'll look at now. In November 2025, NervGen released further analyses showing durable and broader benefits in NVG-291-treated chronic patients up to 12 months post-study. Blinded interviews revealed that patients on NVG-291 reported notable functional gains in daily life compared to placebo. Examples included improved arm/hand usage, for example, being able to perform self-care tasks like brushing hair, opening jars. Crucially, better lower body movement, which was absent at 16 weeks. and also improvements in bladder control and reduced muscle spasticity, none of which were explicitly measured in the initial 16-week outcomes, but manifested later. Objective neurophysiology also confirmed a reduction in pathological reflex activity. Recipients had significantly lower hyperactive reticulospinal signals than placebo. What this suggests is the drug not only strengthens voluntary motor pathways, but also tamps down maladaptive reflex pathways, which correlates with reduced spasticity. Collectively, these expanded results indicate NVG-291's effects are broad, impacting upper and lower limbs, motor and autonomic function, and persistent well beyond the dosing period, reinforcing that actual neural repair/plasticity is occurring. Patients described regained independence and quality of life improvements, painting a compelling picture of real-world impact beyond the lab scores. These are super encouraging results. However, the main focus of the trial was also safety. NervGen won't get any further if it's not statistically safe. So, what were they? Well, NVG-291 has so far shown a favorable safety profile. In a phase 1 trial in 2021 to 22, healthy volunteers, including both men and women, tolerated escalating doses well. A partial FDA hold initially limited exposure in premenopausal women due to some preclinical reproductive findings, but that was lifted once additional data showed no safety signal. In CONNECT-SCI's chronic cohort, as noted, no serious adverse events were attributed to the drug. Injection site reactions, redness, mild pain, were the most frequent complaint. There were no signs of drug-related systemic toxicity. Vital signs, blood tests, etc. were comparable to placebo. No participants had to stop the drug due to side effects. Notably, NVG-291 did not increase spasticity or pain. In fact, spasticity tended to decrease. This contrasts with some concerns that promoting new growth could lead to aberrant pain circuits. That was not observed. Long-term safety, beyond 1 year, remains under study, but the durable functional improvements with no late complications reported up to a year post-dosing are very encouraging. The drug is also being tested in individuals with multiple sclerosis in a separate phase 1b, with no major issues reported so far. So, as of January 2026, NVG-291 has great safety results so far. Well, that sounds great. Let's now look onto what are the next steps. As of January 2026, the subacute cohort of CONNECT-SCI, injuries 20 to 90 days old, is still enrolling and dosing. The first subacute patient was dosed in February 2025. Results from this cohort, another approximately 20 patients, are expected in 2026. If subacute results also show positive trends or significance, it would broaden the use case, treating people soon after injury to further improve recovery. Meanwhile, NervGen is preparing for larger trials. Planning is underway for a phase 2b/phase 3 trial in a larger population, potentially as a pivotal trial for approval. They've raised additional funding, including listing on NASDAQ in late 2025, available to public trading, to support these trials. Their anticipated next milestones is by late 2026, release of combined chronic plus subacute data. In 2027, initiation of a multi-center trial with a few hundred SCI patients, possibly focusing on cervical incomplete injuries initially, as that's where data is strongest. NVG-291's testing in other conditions too, such as a small trial in multiple sclerosis, is planned or started, and preclinical work in traumatic brain injury, stroke, peripheral nerve injury, and even a model of hearing loss, where NVG-291 restored hearing in rats. These indicate the drug's mechanism has broad applicability in nerve repair. But SCI is the lead indication, and NVG-291 is on track to potentially become the first drug treatment for chronic spinal cord injury, if phase 2/3 trials confirm these early results and it gains regulatory approval in the coming years. So there we have it, everything relevant to us with SCI about NervGen research. Let me know if you feel you got everything you might want to know, if there's anything you'd like to know about, or drop a comment just to say hi, and we'll grow this SCI community. Okay, I've been your host Mike, that's all from me for now. Keep well, and I'll see you in the next one.